Hello, my name is William. So I've spent the whole day in half of the day I was thinking about the program and how my expectations for the program. You can follow me on about Great Great. I'm a photographer and I can
Thank you. I hope you got your camera as well.
My name is Samira. Thank you for told me about the program. Actually starting a small business. Seeing the program like this, I know that something good will come out of it for me. So that's how the day happened.
And I read the meeting of the meeting this morning. If I just move from the office in the meeting and have to rush in to come for the program, that's how my day has been. Great.
Alright, my name is Wumpini Mohammed Salifu. I work at the lab at Rich Hospital. Today I'm actually off. I do not have anything to do, and I chat on the advert for this program on Facebook. So I decided to check it out. So basically, my day has been just lying around and waiting for the program to come up. Thank you.
Great. My name is Fred Woody. I work at Ted Cell Water Office. I look forward to a great program. I look forward to learn a lot today. My day has been good, just that there's been a lot of traffic in town. So it was quite annoying. I always say, I had a good day. Thank you. Thank you too.
But the
Next
router is
person.
still little more. Or you can call it.
I'm on local match. So about family, person, person said there's close, and then the patient said he had an eye open. I had to attend to them. Said the traffic was very bad. Great.
So, but in a bit, will you be showing the audience, or you're not focusing on like in a while, will you focus on the audience?
My name is Eric. I'm a Agbenyo. I do this. I decided to become a program because I can decide for it. And my expectation is to learn from my good. My name is like I'm a student with the University of Ghana. I actually found this item reading on this morning. So I had a program here at very fast. I'm hoping to be like-minded people and learn about business that have uh,
Well, I'm here to learn more about the camera, now the balance interface, and to actually I have a technical engineering background, but I did what the government sees. Let's start learning the camera. Thank you. Thank you too.
My name is Benjamin. I'm an intern at
I can hear you speaking there. You too.
Thinking if since we are using this for the streaming, you should go on the Facebook and see the some of the media actually come.
The all new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth Employment Services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others. Special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the La Leshi Road, East Legon. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Laobao-Leishi Road, East Legon. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Labaleshe Road, East Lagos. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth Employment Services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities, providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the La Barleshi Road, East Legon. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth Employment Services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities, providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the La Barleshi Road, East Legon. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth Employment Services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65. Co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Labaleshe Road, East Lagos. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth Employment Services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65. Co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Labaleshe Road, East Lagos. The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others. Special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Laba Leshi Road, East Lagos.
So, Let's welcome Priscilla Asemani with a resounding round of applause just to welcome all of us. For those of us joining virtually and all, thank you for holding up. Priscilla, over to you.
Wow. Can you hear me? Good evening. I'm happy to see all of you here. And a warm welcome to the 7th edition of the Skills Hub Act. And it's proudly funded by EMG, Plan International, and Invest for Jobs. This
All right, so thank you very much for that intro. I would like to speak into the microphone so you can hear me and then see my face. All right, so we'd like to play a special TVC, which is about what we do in the space. So for those of you who have joined us online, you will get to watch a little bit about what we do here. If you are in-house, we'll play for you to see. Right. So let's take a view of what the Skills Hub is about, what we stand to do, and then we would move away from there to the next edition of our activities.
The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated libraries, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others. Special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Labaleshe Road, East Lagos.
So we have a special lady who will be joining us on the stage. She is coming to share more about her journey and also get to answer the questions most of you have shared with us when you filled the form to join us here. I'll read a bit about her and then invite her forward to join me up here. We will engage in a conversation whilst we wait on our next guest to join us. So in a moment, this is a young woman who has been doing really well for herself over the years. She's learned a skill she wants to share with us. Are you ready to have your guest on stage? Okay. I know she wouldn't want me to read all the accolades, so I will just mention a few. She currently runs her own business on the side. She's a brand and business strategist and also a member of the World Economic Forum Global Shapers community. She learned how to sew many years ago, and now that business is training more young women to have a skill in sewing. With a resounding round of applause, I want us to welcome Diana Setsofia Agbenyo, who will be joining me up here. Diana is in our midst. Let's keep clapping for her as she joins us. Take a seat. Okay. You can have the microphone to yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Just project it this way and speak into it.
Hello, hi.
Hi. Okay, so you're welcome once again, Diana.
Thank you.
Well, we want to really know a bit more about you, so share with us all of that, and then we can go into the other part of the conversation.
Okay, so good evening. Of all the things happening today, of all days, it's Black Friday, people are buying mattresses, fridge, a lot of things at discounts, but you chose to be here, so I'd like to say thank you for choosing to be here. And yeah, it's really one of my biggest goals to make sure you leave here with your time well spent. A bit about me. So my name is Diana Setsofia Agbenyo, but you can call me Super Secho. That's actually my IG handle, so you can decide to follow me. Now I would call myself a brand and business strategist, but I didn't begin my career that way. I worked in different capacities, right from senior high through to university, post-university, and then working. And I've used all those experiences to solve problems which I have been able to monetize. But that's not really the point. The point has been I've been able to use all my experiences and skills to help people find jobs, help people create businesses, help people position their businesses as trustworthy brands and as power brands. And I do this through different sectors, mainly in entrepreneurship development, which is like development work, and in fashion business, because I learned to sew as a senior high, and I was able to build a great business out of it. So that would be like two blocks of things I do. So on the development work side, I work for an international nonprofit called JA Ghana. And at JA Ghana, I manage entrepreneurship programs. So I do boot camps, entrepreneurship trainings, all the great things that you can think about. And that's why I'm passionate about what Yota is also doing, because they are sort of adding on or accelerating some of the things we do at JA Ghana. So you should take advantage of opportunities here. When I'm not working for JA Ghana, I'm working as a brand consultant, helping people think about, how people would say, if I mention hair center, how many of us know hair center? You know hair center? Okay, 2 people. How many of us know Jumia? Okay. How many of us know ShopRite? I want the numbers to increase, so I'm trying to mention things that I think you would know. Okay. And what's the most popular? Idinkra meat pie. I'm sure everybody knows that, right? Exactly. When I mention these words, something comes to mind. It's either their product or their service or their uniform, something comes to mind. And it is one of my jobs to make sure whatever comes to mind is what they want you to think about when you hear about them. So that's what I do as a brand strategist. I get to use that to support the entrepreneurs I support for JA entrepreneurship programs as well. And then with business strategy, I mean, marketing is what brings people into your business and brings money into the business. But at the end of the day, how do you build better structures to make sure you can repeat that process? So that's just a bit about what I do. I hope I didn't sound too geeky or nerdy. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So walk us through growing up and some of the experiences you've had, because this is something that will help people really appreciate your journey.
Okay, wow. Growing up. First off, I grew up in Ashaiman. I still live in Ashaiman. So I grew up, I mean, how many of us know Ashaiman? Also about branding. When you hear Ashaiman, what do you think about? I need 3 words.
A very busy community with people working.
Are you trying to be nice? Busy, okay. So we said we've heard busy. What else do you hear? Like, what else comes to mind when you hear Ashaiman? You hear, yeah, you think about Stone Boy, right? What else? Kwashe, exactly. At least one person is being real in this room. Somebody said busy. Really? So Kwashe, what else do you think about? For those who don't understand Kwashe, could the person who said it explain? Yes, so getting your stuff re-owned by people who need it. Okay. Crazy driving, yes. So those are bits and pieces of what you think about when you hear the word Ashaiman. So I grew up from there. I'm very proud of it. I've never questioned anybody. But I would say it was one of the experiences that has really shaped the kind of person I am today. So growing up in a poor community, you don't have a lot of opportunities. You know, you get to go to school, but you don't see a lot of people go beyond junior high or even senior high. So these days, I think because of free education, we have at least the cap being senior high. But before, once you finish JHS, like that's it. Your parents will tell you they've done enough. Your mates didn't even get to JHS, so they've done enough. And using those experiences meant that, one, I had to battle a lot of mental limitations because you don't think you can do so great coming from where you are. I went to Saito, even the school I went to. I mean, all the schools I went to, after I left, the schools closed down. So we don't have old school association, but except for senior high. But I went to Saito. We did morning and afternoon shifts. By the grace of God, I topped my classes. My parents didn't have the greatest of education. My mom never went to school. My dad's education level in today would be like senior high. But their work ethic is what I would really hammer on. My parents are people, and much like people who come from places like Ashaiman. Like, when you think Ashaiman, you think about all the not so great things. The other great things to think about is the fact that people are so resilient. People are so motivated to make things happen. I mean, Ashaiman is where you get to hear this, Ebefa, one day go be, like, there's that vibe, you see, and that's one of the things that I get to tap into because you are already at ground zero. There's no place lower than that. So all you know is about building something that can be great and that can help other people. So I would say those pockets of experiences
Right.
shaped me to what I am today.
Okay, great. Interesting. If you feel like clapping, I think you should. That's a very wonderful journey, sharing that with us. So we're happy to have our second or our guest also joining us.
The
Let me read a
all-new
bit about
multi-purpose
him, and
Skills
then we
Hub is
will
supporting young
have him. He's
people
already
seeking
in.
opportunities to build their dream
He is the
businesses, gain
CEO
decent
of the
work, and
Ghana Chamber
transform
of
their
Bulk
lives.
Oil
The Skills Hub
Distributors.
offers
He's a
incredible
finance and
services
economic
for
policy
next to
analyst
nothing.
with management
These
experience
services
across
include youth
varying
enterprise
industries,
services,
including
where we
downstream
support you to
petroleum.
start, grow,
And
and sustain
he
their
does a lot of
businesses.
public
Our incubation
policy
and
advocacy.
acceleration services
Let's welcome
come with priority
Mr.
access to greater
Senyo Hosi.
Thank you. You can speak into it really well. All right, so we've been talking a little bit about ourselves. We want to actually get to know you. Who is Senyo Hosi growing up? And then we'll dive into the conversation for today. You're welcome once again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a son of an engineer and a caterer. I'm an ex-baker. My first entrepreneurial adventure was in baking. I'm driven a bit more about the opportunity to impact lives. I'm a beneficiary of people's efforts to also impact my space. And I hope I also can impact constructively the space of others and transform lives and help people change their stories as others helped me change my story sometime in life. So it's been a journey. I'm not too sure if there's a personality profile conversation, but that's a bit more about me. I'm a very simple guy. You just see what you get, nothing more. I don't know if that's true, right? But you have it. Okay. I have it. Okay. So today's conversation is more focused on your lessons that how to start processing. Let me just share with us that when she finished high school, she started a business, right? And the business was to learn how to sew. She took that skill in that. And that journey has been quite difficult. She never acquired that skill which she used to help her find a job in the city. So how was it in terms of learning how to sew right after senior high school? What was the time? Why did you take that path?
Okay, so my deciding to, first off, it wasn't even my decision to go learn dressmaking. So I had finished senior high, and then I had to resit one of my papers, which was my math. And whilst I was waiting, it was actually when I was waiting for my results that my sister said, I can't just be home sitting, doing nothing, so let me just go learn how to make clothes. And then in the midst of that, the results come and I have to resit another paper, which means I can't go to school the same year. And the way the system works, for those of us who understand it, if you cumulatively it's 2 years before you can resit, get your result, and then reapply, unless, of course, you want to go back to another senior high school to join the next batch. My parents were not having that, so I had to go through the actual system of writing the NOPTEC. So I used that 2 years to learn how to sew. At the time, I was working very crazy hours. One of the things about sewing is when you're like an apprentice, you don't decide the hours. So you could come in the morning at, let's say, 7, and if we have bulk orders for clothes, you could stay till midnight. So I did that for a year. And then I told myself, well, I'm not getting paid to do this apprenticeship work. But I know there are work and pay jobs in sewing that I could still use to learn how to sew. I can perfect my sew with it, but then I'll get paid, right? Mm-hmm. So what I did was I took a work and pay job, and I saw that the money was not going to be enough because I thought I could save for investing, not knowing university school fees are another ball game. But so I took that job, and then I took on a teaching job to add to that. So I was teaching from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. At 4 p.m., I would move to where I did my work and pay. So it's a fashion design company. And then I would work from that 4 p.m. to midnight. And then I'll go home, repeat the process the next day.
Right.
Sometimes I left that place around 2 p.m., 1 a.m., and it was very, very tough. I think as we are talking about lessons, one of the things that made me work those hours was because, if you've been in tough situations, you know how depressing it can get. And so you just overwork yourself so you're not alone to be depressed.
Right.
So those were the challenges I had to grapple with, mentally, and then working these extra hours, pushing myself, and then learning how a fashion business runs, and then deciding that, okay, if I ever get the chance to go to university, I would want to change how this system works.
Right.
It also means that, I was reading science in senior high, then I changed to general arts, and then I'm doing fashion. Like, if you look at my life, it doesn't look very streamlined, right? But because I had that ability to really adapt, I wasn't one of those people who grew up with that idea that when I grew up, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a journalist. With where I'm coming from, you don't see those around.
Yeah, not too
having
common.
those aspirations.
Right.
So you can say it with your friends to laugh at, like to just play, like when you're joking. But I think that's one of the great things. I never had those things because I didn't have any example of anybody actually being real. All the things we're saying when we were 8-year-olds.
Right.
So all those experiences, learning to sew and then being able to adapt into new things, like life was giving me lemons, I was changing them into lemonades, those were the challenges I had to grapple with and then find solutions to what we see today.
Right. So that was quite an, interesting, intriguing, or challenging moment for you, based on the fact that you had failed a particular course or a particular subject, you had to retake it. Senyo, was it similar or same for you in that respect?
Well, for starters, we're all science students then.
Yeah.
I'm a disappointed chemical engineer. I'm a disappointed Air Force officer. I'm a disappointed pilot.
Yeah.
Life has its own way of taking care of it, but I'm rather more interested in her story. I find your story very exciting. It's an inspirational story. I'm really proud of you. Many people today don't know how to really pick up so easily when they fall. And she is writing a story of how to pick up when you fall.
Absolutely.
I tell people, no matter where you find yourself and opportunities that you somewhat get and somewhat don't like, there is value in every space you find yourself.
Right.
If you set aside your ego and make the most of your moment, you will optimize that particular opportunity. You want to be an army commander, you didn't get it. You want to be a science student, you got visual arts. You want to do business, you got home accounts. Make the most of that opportunity at that time. I look at my life today and every single thing that happened has added critical value to where I am today. I've been homeless. It taught me serious lessons. I know the value of a home. I know the need to make investment, to save right, to sacrifice everything, to prioritize the right things for my family. I spent a lot of my early times in court because my father stood surety for his friend. Some people say that was a very hard way to really grow up. When university, when people vacate, everybody is looking, waiting for joining the bars or parents coming, depending on what kind of family you come from. We were looking for senior hall tutors so that we can stay on campus. I got lessons at every single part of it. I did a job for 3 months and was in the pharmaceutical industry. Got so pissed, unhappy with my boss, left. But the things I learned in that 3 months have been very material where I am today. Never take anything in your journey for granted. It has meaning. what you should know is that when you take those circumstances for granted, you are taking your own self for granted. One, you are not happy. Two, you get nothing from it. What's your use? You're a fool. She didn't get the result she wanted. She couldn't go to uni. It's not a very nice thing to have. We've all been in secondary school before. It feels a little embarrassing. True or false?
True.
Exactly. She opted, instead of just sitting at home and trying to pretend to be in some university that doesn't exist and posting pictures on Facebook as if they are in school, she opted to go and take on that particular trade. How many of you here will be willing to be an apprentice anywhere?
I doubt.
You've gone to secondary school, you are feeling you're on top of the world. The world doesn't owe you a thing.
That's
you
right.
have every reason to make the best of any opportunity you have at the time. You can never stop learning.
Right.
When I left the university, the first job I had, I was offered a job in Space Phone at the time, which is MTN today, Sims Cancom. I had written my dissertation in on them, something around that, and they found it very intriguing. They felt it's going to do some nice research job. And I got another job which was making me a salesman. And I thought I was going to learn more in the smaller organization than the big organization. Look, at this your stage, all you should be hungry for at every time is learning.
Right.
Learning how to get things done. Learning is the defining word for you. It's not money. When you learn right in the early stage of your life, you'll be able to transfer that learning into making money. And that's what she did. The opportunity she had at the time was to learn. You see, she's turned it around into something more meaningful. And watch that space with that attitude, that humility that came with it, to accept my situation at this time. I have a 2-year lead. I have to learn again. I'm going to learn. But in between time, I have to make meaning of my time. And she's made meaning of her time. Today, you are sitting here and you are listening to her. Her classmates, some of them who failed along, will not even get a chance to sit here. I am honored to be by your side, and I'm proud of you. And I think you deserve a round of applause from this audience.
Wow. Senyo, hold on to that thought, and I will be back again. So I think that in terms of starting business, Setsofia shares a bit more about, her even starting. Have you had the opportunity to even start a business yourself, Senyo?
I started my first business post-uni, owned by, in uni. And this is another interesting thing. It's good to see you working the hours and all that. I woke up to parenting quite early. Parenting my little siblings quite early. I think at the age of 17, I was effectively a dad, and I didn't say I want to make babies at 17, so don't get too inspired. So I had to beg to take care of my siblings. I was in uni first year. I was a very, happy-go-lucky guy. You see me everywhere. If it's noise, you find me. That was my escape, because so early I had a very serious life. We needed to find a way to make money. My mom was a caterer. I used to help her a bit in there. I used to help her a lot. We used to carry. I used to go around and sell stuff. And in all this, you learn. You learn to sell. You learn how to interact with people. You learn to serve. And my parents were not around at the time, and the responsibility was on me. And with the economic challenges, we had to do something.
Yeah.
So it was the baking. I would wake up every Sunday, leave school, be home Sunday, knead my bread, wake up very early, eat deep into the midnight, and then wake up very early by 5:30, 5 a.m., start baking. Because to start a business, the first thing you need to understand is that you have to create value. All right?
Yeah.
To run a business, you have to deliver the value.
Yeah.
To sustain to sustain a business, you have to anticipate value.
Right.
All right. So for me, the story was I needed to get the formula right. I was helping mommy mold the stuff, I'll carry the stuff, but I needed to find a way to mold it right, up to the recipe that she had. I never followed that. So we just box everything together, I go to the place, go knead it and come back. So now I had to figure out my own. I had just, I think 6 olonka or 4 olonka like that. You don't know olonka, do you?
I think only a few.
I still don't even know what olonka means in actual metric terms. No. But if I say olonka, I'll see one. So I did a test run with 2 olonka because I was fairly educated. I would write down my recipe. Ghanaian women don't write down any recipe. Their recipe is their tongue. So those of you who are here, give your life to Christ and change and start measuring your meals, so you can have a proper formula and get proper recipes. I wrote it down and it failed, and I was scared because I didn't have much capital. I had just this 4 olonka. So the next one was to do my lottery with my last. So I did the tweaking, tasted the thing, I saw where the thing failed, and I tweaked it. I knew I needed to create a certain kind of value. Now, I'm not the only guy who's going to be preparing and baking bread and selling bread around. My mom used to sell it, distribute to someone on the streets of Adenta and all that. I didn't think that formula would work. 1, I didn't have a big size. 2, things were not going well. So we had to come up with a different strategy. And there were a lot of people, HP bread, all kinds of things were there. The only difference I could really deliver, which HP and Co couldn't deliver, is delivering bread fresh, hot, at people's doors. Have you really walked past a bakery early in the morning? If you don't enter, you don't take care, you enter inside the oven. So I felt that was going to be my differentiator. And when my 2 olonka worked and my recipe was sound, I went to people, to their doors who knew me in the hood, and I pleaded with them to just give my own a try. They shouldn't pay, they should just try it. And you see all these mothers seeing this small boy trying hard, they'll just give you the money anyway. But I wasn't interested in them just give that money that day because they may not come again. But once the value is delivered right, you actually have your repeat purchase. All right, and I got that back. And 2 olonka moved to half a bag of flour to a full bag of flour. And I actually got overwhelmed where I had to now choose between school and business. I wasn't Bill Gates, so I stayed in school. But that's the story, the need for perseverance, the need for creativity. You deliver value out of your creativity, your analytical skills, and your perseverance. But value only emanates from you because you yourself must have value. If you don't find value in your own self, you can't deliver any value. You can't create any value. When you came to this world, the only thing you really had was you. So you must be very, very confident in yourself. Confident in yourself. Invest in yourself to deliver value. Even when you feel, you know that it's an opportunity to know how to do it better. You understand? Never look down on yourself. No matter your upbringing, no matter your family or economic status, no matter what exams you have failed, never look down on yourself. Know that it is your opportunity for a bigger comeback. Do you get me? Yeah, because the biggest gift you have is yourself. The first gift you have is yourself. So God will breathe what life into you, and that's you. So that is the first source of value from which value will emanate.
Thank you so much, Senyo. I think Senyo deserves a round. Talking about value, I want to tie it into Setso's role as a brand and business strategist, right? You know, does a brand name really influence the kind of business you're really into as a brand person? Does the brand name really influence the business? Kind of.
Yes and no. So it depends on how you look at it. So from the generic sense, if you're a small business that is trying to get people to know you, you want to make it easier for the people you're trying to reach to know what you're doing just by your name, right? And then there are people who are so ambitious and so daring to say they are not going to use that route and choose a name that doesn't make any sense, and then market like hell to make sure people understand what that brand name signifies. So that's where we have the Uber, if Uber is like a German word, I heard it's, yeah, so I Googled Uber one time, and I think the name is like a shortened German word, which means move or go. I may be wrong. I think that's, I think, yes, it's, I think, well, there's NSMQ, so the word Uber, people can Google it and let me know if I'm wrong. It's like a shortened word that is like what you would take for Jolali or Etasco. Like, leap now or never, kind of. So that's where the word comes from. But we don't speak Deutsch globally. No. But they chose that name to say, well, this is how they understand it, whether people understood it that way or not. Even if it sounded different, they were still going to market their value so well that soon, when you hear even cab hailing, you associate it with Uber.
Right.
And then there are people who choose, let's say, ShopRite. When you hear ShopRite, you have an understanding of what it could be, like shopping, and then right. It's when you see the actual spelling there, you say, no, it's actually not the right you mean. The right is like a family name for the business, the mother company, right? But when it comes to naming a business, I find it quite an interesting question to ask. I would say it doesn't really matter what name you choose. People can have the best of names and still fail at it. But it's just like strategy. At the end of the day, when you hit the market, it's what the market wants that would cripple whatever strategy you've gone to formulate elsewhere. So yeah, it really depends on you what kind of business name you want for yourself. Of course, there's the legalities of it. If you go to the Registrar General, somebody has taken the name, it's trademarked, all that. But if it's not, you can always craft your own name, and if you have a solid execution plan for it, soon people would rather want to be associated with the name than what it means. Yeah.
Great. Senyo, would you like to speak to that? Working with different brands, what does a brand name, have influence on the business?
There's a need to choose names, but the real value of a brand is in the meaning you give to it, the experiences the customers have with it. It is not just a name. You understand? So don't just get too carried away. Yes, a name that has no meaning, i.e. a brand that is new has no meaning. Just get it right. No matter how easy, whether I shop right or not, I don't know whether I want me to shop left. So nobody cares. So it's the experience and the value that you actually share out of that brand that now makes the brand what it is. If you did not know a Benz as a luxury brand, a luxury, well-engineered vehicle, and you are in some village somewhere in Asia, and somebody says, I'll give you a Benz, I'm sure when you hear I'll give you a mango, you take the mango over I'll give you a Benz. True or false? So it's the meaning you give. That's why brands need to be communicated to you, the customer. To your customers. No, you are the entrepreneur, sorry. Apologies here. So it is important. I had a client, as part of my entrepreneur, I also used to run a consultancy. And today, I run a network or a whole set of companies in different areas. But I had a client who was in FMCG, and we had to debate a brand. We had done some little research and recommended he gets into canned mackerel, and he wanted the name Teacher. I said, Papa, of all the names you want to come to the market, is it Teacher? He said, Jesus is the teacher. I said, this is business, it's not Jesus anything. We had a long debate. I think that I had a different name, which was a bit sexy, Parita or something I've forgotten, because it was a Parry and Co. And we had something else. I've forgotten what it was, but it was a lot more sexy, right from. But the man was adamant that it is Teacher. Now our job was to make Teacher make sense and be the brand. All right. Believe you me, teacher was running this market ahead of the other brands, and the only thing that you needed next was you could see on the market were people faking teacher, and that's a sign of success. Yeah, when people have to fake your brand to be able to sell their products, then Charlie, you're in a comfortable lead. You understand? That's what teacher became. Our job was to bring meaning into teacher, and teacher is not some village poor person who has to drink beer and bubble it so it will be long. You know, there are all kinds of thoughts about teachers, because as important as teachers have been, this country has not adequately rewarded and honored the place of a teacher. So it's not something that easily brings, a high level brand. I don't know, it doesn't really bring a high level. So if you see Starkers and you see teacher, which one will you take? You see, if you take Starkers, teacher, they are doing. Imagine teacher beer. But we can transform teacher beer by the experience and also the brand positioning we give teacher. So sometimes, run your conviction as an entrepreneur. Be sensitive to the markets that you are dealing with. You need to have the right kind of communication that you want to have. If you say you want to take shit to America, they will think, is it shit or what? You understand? So you have to think about it. How do I do it? Do I do it pepperita or something? You may do it, but it all depends on the meaning you can. When the people experienced teacher and they saw that the teacher product was delivering a certain kind of value, they found it superior to all the beautiful names that were on the market. Do you understand? So there is a need to choose your name right, but that's not necessarily it. I don't know those who know Jacob Bechibi Lamte sitting here. Do you know Jacob Bechibi Lamte?
Yeah. Yes.
Who is he? Former what? Okay, great. He used to run one of the most successful advertising entities in this country. And I had a chat with him. He said the fastest way to destroy a bad product is to advertise it. You get it? So you advertise to enhance and the value that you wish to deliver. But when your value is in the reverse, what you just do is to let people dump your product much quickly. Do you understand? Yes, if we advertise this water, I will call it any water. Give some, what's it? Voltic. Voltic, today you hear Voltic. You get into a town, they say Voltic, and Nabaso. You go and drink the thing. The thing is salty. You drink the thing, you see green. When they say Voltic next time, will it make any? Thank you very much. So brands deliver what we call brand equity. That equity is what you invest in it as a result of the product experience, the service experience that consumers and the market encounter.
Thank you so much, Senyo. Someone wants to clap, feel free and clap. I think we are getting there, and this is one of the things we want to really get into. In terms of starting business, the challenge has always been, the high taxes for some of the small businesses, What has been the challenge for you, starting your small business? I'm sure you've registered it now. What has been the challenge for you when it comes to tax and other things that you think a small business should have?
Luckily, I have a family member who works at GRA. So I usually run these things by him. There are so many tax, should I call it allowances or tax, there's a word? Tax what? Yes, there are lots of tax exemptions for startups. So I heard that if you're an entrepreneur that's less than 35 years, there's like a tax exemption for you, especially for you. So my experience has been looking for these exemptions and looking for these opportunities to grow the business in a way that. And then there's also another one that says until you're making an annual revenue of about 200,000 CDs, you are not supposed to pay some taxes. You're not even supposed to pay VAT. I'm not the technical expert in that. But my experience has been asking these questions to see, okay, I honestly can't afford paying taxes at this point if we are running by the percentages. And so what are some of these tax exemptions that I could apply for the business so that I could grow the business or reinvest that money into growing the business? And then once we are making that much of money, we can pay the taxes. But of course, between now and then, we're employing people and helping people get sustainable jobs. So there, that has been my experience. But in terms of whether taxes are too much or too small, I wouldn't want to comment on that because every sector has its own different tax blocks. And depending on your sector, the government is listening to entrepreneurs and listening to these calls for exemptions, these calls for breaks. And it would be good to speak to an expert and then get response on, speak to an expert about what those exemptions or blocks are, or breaks rather, are for the industry you are working specifically in, and then exploit it. I don't know what Senyo would say to that.
What's your opinion about that? This, you know, the taxes are quite high. We all agree that we are working in this industry. What experiences can you share?
My industry is varied. You know of me as somebody speaking English, not as somebody selling petrol. I'm a farmer. I run an agribusiness. I own an investment bank. I'm into tech these days. I have a stake in the hospitality and real estate business. So the business, and every one of them has its own particular, structure. The thing, my advice to you is that you have to start with the right orientation. So, one, research right. There are a lot of freebies that are available to you. The state has all kinds of support systems like tax exemptions for you. Some of you don't really fit into any of the tax brackets as of now. So, but legitimize your business. Stop wanting to run a cottage industry that's hidden. You can run a cottage industry and start building professionalism to it, because that is how you'll be able to attract investors. Now, keep your books right. How you're spending, how you're booking it. I mean, I don't know what you do here at Skills Hub, but possibly you could actually run all kinds of incubators for them to, for all these entrepreneurs to really learn basic bookkeeping and financial management for businesses. Right. And just do it. That is how you'll be able to know the opportunities for you to actually boost your profits or grow your business. That is when you can actually meet a potential investor and say, look, this is what my business is doing. This is what it can do. This is the sentiment we have from the market. I don't think you should get too worried about the general environment and think that you should be finding ways around it. There are ways already around it for very small or entry-level entrepreneurs. And when you don't keep your things right, it becomes difficult for anybody to even come and invest in your business. It becomes difficult for you to even communicate your business to friends and family. I think that the primary source for entrepreneurs for early startup capital is friends and family, because they are going to invest in the integrity they see in you. That's why you need to manage your relationships right with people around you. When I did my bread in those days, I mean, the relationship I had with my neighbors was important. They even giving me a chance and trying my bread, okay? And for them to say, okay, let's try it again, and maybe it was not just one hell of a fluke, and they did it again. And this time they were calling you, letting you know, I'll need it on this day, on that day, So invest right in the integrity bit. And if you want to do that right, it also transcends just yourself, but your business culture. When your staff know that you know how to steal from government, they will also know how to steal from you. But you are the same person. You want to steal from government, but you want to stand there and be criticizing government. E levy, F levy, G levy, F why are they collecting? But you are running away from me. Have you done your part? You understand? So guys, I would encourage you to start right. For my businesses, I did start right. My bakery, I had no understanding about taxes. I would have run that big bakery and I wouldn't have needed to actually pay taxes for the period that. So all we're doing was this community thing that district assemblies were taking. But I wish I actually packaged my business in a more structured form. All right, I'm sure I'd have been able to grow it much bigger and better than I eventually did. Eventually, I gave up on it because it was becoming quite expensive for my education anyway. And I was looking at the scale. It was difficult to sustain the value. You see the thing? People know you for fresh, hot thing. They recommend you to another person for fresh, hot thing. Now you are too big. You can't even rob. By the time you finish robbing, the person has gone to work.
Exactly.
So you have to always come up with new ways to sustain the value. And that means you anticipate your growth and make the right investment, which I didn't make at the time. And to be fair, at the time I was just trying to get by life. And when I saw I could eat in a more stable form, I moved on. So just do the right thing. And there are many places you can walk to and get to learn. Some people will tell you that when you register and start paying taxes, and that's when the people will worry you more. Okay, don't believe in those guys, right? They are crooks, and I wouldn't encourage you to associate much with them. There are so many free things that you can have and still do the right thing. So please do the right thing. Ghana needs all of us to do the right thing. I've done some wrong things before out of the absence of knowledge. All right. I know it's right. And when you know it's right, do the right thing. Teach others also do the right thing. That's how together we can progressively build the right community.
Right. Interesting.
So he mentioned correct bookkeeping, and I think it's something that we don't really do so much of. I mean, for me, one of the things. So the sewing business is like a service I run. I don't do I run trainings for people who want to learn how to sew, either for business or as a hobby. So it's like a service. Of course, sometimes I take orders to make clothes for people, but sometimes because I don't, at the beginning, because I didn't know how to price myself, I just had to write those things down. Okay, how much is it costing me to pay for space? How much is it costing me? So that was my form of bookkeeping, so that I can have an idea of how much expense I am making and then know how to price. But 4 years in, I realized those were very critical in helping me know how to show my books to people, tax auditors, and then they can tell how much I'm supposed to pay in terms of taxes. If you don't have those kind of records, it makes it difficult for investors, like he said, to trust the value you are placing on your business. And so, I just wanted to re-echo that it's really important. No matter how small it would be for you, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be an entire big spreadsheet of different costings and everything. Your own form of however you understand record keeping in your own language. Keep records of everything you do in your business, so that later in life it makes it easier to cross-check and get the support you need.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Diana. And we would be going into the next set of sessions for questions very soon, but we will learn a bit more from our guest. We've been discussing lessons learned, how to start, grow, and sustain a business. Right here at the Skills Hub, what we do is also focused on providing support services for young people in, enterprise or those who need jobs. So those are things that we are readily doing, and we're open to do more with young people. I think a question popped up when we sent out the link. One person wants to know, what does, forming a team, what was some of the challenges for you in terms of getting a team to start a business with? What were some of the lessons you learned at the challenge?
I wish the person was here so we could actually define what he or she meant by the team. Are you looking at the team, i.e. set of partners to start the business, or you're looking at a team as in employees? So maybe we should make both assumptions.
Exactly.
Right. So we'll start with the bigger and more difficult one, which is partners. Partnerships in Ghana are difficult. Ghanaians are default entrepreneurs. We are, we don't realize that. The orientation where people say that Ejumano, your papa dia. You know that line, right? Meaning you should work hard only when it is. So everybody around you is planning to do his own thing. Partnerships thrive on trust, openness, especially when you are an early entrepreneur. Unless you have just an investor coming in with a very functional input. So that is different. You must pick your partners well. Invest right in the relationships you need. And when you're going to partnerships, don't take anything for granted and assume we are just friends. Friends fall out. Somebody takes somebody's girlfriend unknowingly. Because somebody may like somebody without saying it, and somebody will take the action and go for it, and the other one will vex. Things happen. So start right with putting in a proper agreement. And there are likes of maybe, I don't know, skills, so maybe skills have been given the support, or you may find to get you an agreement that puts the relationship into proper perspective. People just say, yeah, you know what, let's set up a company. Now they set up a company, one person feels like he's working and the other one is not working. Shareholders are not the same as employees. The MD of a company is not necessarily a shareholder. The company itself is a distinct entity from its owners. Do you understand? Do you understand? So even when you are the owner of a company, we can sack you. The board can sack you. But you too can sack the board. Only at an annual general meeting. But on a day-to-day basis, it's the board that's responsible, and the board will mandate management to execute. So when you say you're going to form a company with somebody, you need to understand what it means. Most of you don't understand what it means. So you start feeling shortchanged. So you need to make sure you have the right kind of relationship with the people you're going to partnership with. People you know you can trust. And once you know you can trust them, that's not enough. Document clearly what your expectations, the two of you, the three of you, the four of you, hope to achieve, and what you all hope to have contributed. Do you understand? So she could be my friend, even if she's my wife. We have to agree exactly what the nature of this relationship is on paper. Because even spouses also break up, true or false? Children can be disowned by parents. But if your parent disowns you and you're all shareholders in the company, that one they can't disown your shares. It's not their right. It's your own right to decide what you do with your shares. So you need to be careful who you go with, but make sure the key thing for me here is that stop taking things for granted. Stop thinking that he's my guy. So all I'm going to do is, here, let's start. Please document the relationship. If you can't get a full agreement in place because you can't afford one, at least sit down and agree your expectations of each other. Then you work along. Somebody must lead. You must have a clear definition on how you come to making decisions. You understand? When we started my consulting business, I started with my best friend. It was also my best man, and I was also his best man. We shared the same suit. You know, we just switch positions. So when the company is hard, you have to find all kinds of creative ways. So man must survive. Say survive. Sure. So one, I believe that I'm the most considerate, and I can put the partnership success ahead of my own personal interest. So you be the CEO, I'll be the chairman of the board. So if you bully me here, I know where I also get you. You know, but that was not it. So I could defer easily to him. You make a call. If we have to make a decision, we think that, look, when we have a tie in it, we agree who we are going to, and the person should be a tiebreaker. And whatever the decision is made, we all respect it. You must understand that in a partnership, not everything will go your way. But everything that must be done must go the way of the entity. In that when a decision is made, whether it's in your interest or not, just like I told you about teacher, I didn't believe in the teacher brand. My responsibility was to make sure teacher wins, and teacher won. You understand? You can agree to debate fiercely and disagree, but when you come to a consensus on a decision, whether it's your idea or it's not your idea, your job as a team is to make sure you deliver the success of that decision. All right? You're an idiot if you are just sitting there waiting to say, I told you so. Who is losing? The entity. Do you really want your entity, part of which you are a baby, it's your baby, to really go down? Your job is to make sure the entity wins. You understand? Sometimes people would, you yourself, you should be humble. That's the problem with partner. People are not humble about their opinions. So when I think something and others go against me, I want to prove that. You have nothing to prove. You have everything to be right, not everything to prove yourself as right. You understand? What you want to do is to get things right, not to be right. They are two different things. To get things right and being right are not the same thing. Do you agree? And that is one of the biggest problems partnerships have. People are in a hurry to be right instead of being in a hurry to get it right. So me, I don't have a problem changing my mind right now when I hear something that's better. Because at the end of the day, when the entity makes money and is successful, I get my part. What's the value in me being right and we don't succeed? So guys, when you enter partnerships, pursue getting it right and not being right. Then to the employee side. The employees today are different. You must understand what your employees want. The employees you have are not your properties. One of the problems that bosses have is that they forget that they've been employees before. So how you treat them? Me, I shout and scream a lot too. But I also know what shakes me. So sometimes I actually play the psycho. The same man who is tough on the guys, the same guy who will be hanging out and chilling with the guys more than anybody. Because beyond work, we are just everybody. We are just human beings. We are just friends. All right? And everybody will need each other at some point in life. So don't have an exaggerated sense of your own importance. So building the team, one of the things I learned, and I'll take my hospital project, when you invest in the right people, you go far. But sometimes when you start a business, you struggle with the resources to get the right people. All right? So you should need to ask, what do I need to inspire the kind of person I have to have here? Sometimes making the person a part of the business. Sometimes the way you treat them. You have to be emotionally very intelligent. The investment you make in the person to get the most out of the person. So the person, even if I come with you and I don't get all the money I need, at least I build the skills I need. I live with some kind of value. It may also be the way you even treat them. I was at the Volta Fair recently, and we're talking about our agri project. And in the last season, we've put about 3,000 people to work. 3,000 people to work, and I'm sitting here. I'm not on the ground. I'm not a guy. All I needed to do was to point out the general manager who was doing that work. That was an inspirational moment for him. The next day, the work the guy was doing, I called the guy early in the morning. The guy was already on the field because he felt well recognized. So there are all kinds of things you need to put in place to motivate your staff. But to identify them, just don't go for anything. All right? Find the right attitude. Invest in the skills that they need. And motivate them subject to the resources you have and the system you find yourself. And you get the best out of the team that you need. I often don't build too many big teams. Yeah, especially when I'm starting a business. When I was starting the bakery, I pulled in my cousin. I made sure I remunerated her. Even though she was also under my care, I remunerated her. I had to get somebody in. I made the man feel a part. When I discussed my business, the business, and how we do it together. You see that the business is going this way. This is the money we are going. So you're also getting this share. You're happy. Eventually, when I was folding up, I gave the whole, some of the infrastructure we had at the time, and I donated it to this guy to actually move on and then set up his own business, Oklu. And that is the meaning you have brought to somebody's life. Somebody will be willing to go the extra mile to make sure that as a team, you guys deliver the value that you are committed to your customers.
I think we should clap for Senyo again, because this is something that he has really hinted on. You should know what your employees really want as a staff, and then you go after it. Your employees should also appreciate you as staff, which is very important. And I think team building or having the right team is very important. I would want you to respond to a question, but we'll be playing a short video for our in-house and virtual teams to watch, and then we'll get back to that. My question is, somewhere last year, you put a team together to construct the hospital project. It was a very interesting one within a short period of time. Would like to know a bit more in terms of how hard was it for you in getting the space.
The all-new multi-purpose skills hub is
for those of us who are joining us virtually, you can drop your questions inside the comment section. We will pick them up. For those in-house, we'll be calling you to come up front to ask all your questions you have. They are here. They are here. They'll be responding to questions. Right. Right, so if you have a question now, kindly be on your feet, and then we would get the microphones to you to get on with that. If you're ready, just be on your feet. Just raise up your hand and be on your feet. We'll get you the microphone.
All right, so we've made that TVC. No questions? Just be on your feet. We'll get the microphones to you.
The all-new multi-purpose skills hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The skills hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include youth enterprise services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities, providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65. Co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate. High-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others. Special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Laballeshi Road, East Lagos.
All right, so welcome back. We are taking questions right in the auditorium, so the questions will be directed towards any of you. We would like to have the first person introduce yourself, your name, and then
Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
My name is Dela. I'm starting a company. What are the factors of starting a small? What are the factors of starting a company? Does it consider the human behaviors of? Does it consider of employing human behaviors of employing person? Does it employ the human character of employing a person? And what are the factors of building a small company or starting a company?
You guys go to school too much. I'm serious. You see, look at this is question. Don't ask me what are the factors. See, that's the kind of question you see in your exam, right? You see how our education system is so flawed. You want to know how to start a business. You want to know how to start a business, all right? That's what you want to know. You have a business in mind. What exactly do you really want to know? You know, which phase are you in your business? What challenges do you think you are facing? Is it a mental block on what next to do? That's what you should be communicating to solve a problem. But when you ask a question, what are the facts? Stand. Because I'm going to have you ask the question again, all right? Now, don't figure out how to ask the question like you're writing some exam. And what are the factors of conventional rain? That's not the question you want to ask. So take the mic again and ask the question from your actual practical situation. Tell us your story and tell us what is actually your perturbation.
Right. Yeah. So Dela.
He says he's starting a business, or you are thinking.
I'm starting a business.
Yes. What business are you starting?
I'm starting a business. That business is considered arts and entertainment.
Entertainment?
Yes.
Okay, you're starting an entertainment business, okay?
Okay, but I'm not getting, right now, I don't have enough funds to pay, enough funds to build shop and those, shops and etc. But I'm having issues of money, raise of funds to get shops here in East Legon, getting employees and other stuff.
So no. Leave the mic with him. The last story is in many people's stories sitting here, so don't worry. So let him. Let me. You can come forward. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, sorry, guys, online, but you may not see the la. I hope you see the la. Now, I mean, audience. Now, do you see the difference in the question? So, what am I going to tell him? Factors of production in economics, entrepreneurship. You need capital. You need land. You need what do you call it? Would I answer his question? Guys, life is real. Approach it with reality. You understand? So seek real answers, practical solutions. Talk about your problem with clarity. Then it can be solved for you. Now, you want to do entertainment business.
Yes.
And from where you sit, you think you don't have the shops. And you need shops. You don't have the capital to do shops. You're also thinking that you need people and you don't have the people. So we are going to go through this. Yeah. What is the business nature of your entertainment business?
It's considered art and entertainment.
Acting.
No, act.
Art.
Yeah, art
Right.
and entertainment.
What exactly about art and entertainment? You have a business when you are delivering a certain kind of value that people would want to pay for and associate with. So what is that value? Are you selling a product? Are you delivering a service?
It's all of them combined.
You can't end up starting life doing everything.
No, sorry.
You understand?
Yeah.
You are starting a business. So remember. So guys, are you hearing?
Yeah.
You can't overwhelm yourself with everything. You should figure out what your winners in life are. Figure out what? Exactly. And that winners will be defined by what you think consumers may need and what kind of skills and resources you have at the moment that you can use to deliver it. You may do the same thing that other people may be doing, but you'll be doing it differently, and that's your opportunity. Do you understand?
Yes, please.
All right, so let's go over this. What exactly do you want to deliver? So let's say we are taking 3 of your services.
Okay, art entertainment.
Art entertainment is nothing.
Okay, educational purpose. Educational service.
Sermons.
Educational service.
Services.
Yes, please.
What services?
Della would need
So,
more
Della, this is a
support.
problem.
Right.
You're not going to start your business because you have not even defined first your business.
Right.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
You don't just go into business because there's business. Remember, I said something. To start a business, you need to be able to create value.
Right.
That value must be fully defined. All right? The next thing you want to do is you have to deliver the value. And if you are delivering the value, that's when you are running a business. And then if you want to sustain your business, you have to anticipate value and prepare and be in the future. You get it?
Yes, please.
Who knows Kodak? All right? Kodak is one of the companies that failed to anticipate value. So they got stuck in running their businesses. They couldn't sustain their business. Kodak they used to produce the camera, the films and all that. If you know Photo and Photo Ghost, the Photo Ghost is the film. You've not seen that joke before. But that tells me how young I am here. But you need to define clearly what you want.
Okay.
What business are you starting? What opportunity have you seen in the market that you think that you have skills, resources, or can put things together to deliver? Have you defined that?
No, please.
Then you are not ready to start a business. So sit down and define clearly what value you think you can create. All right? That people would be willing to pay for. People will be willing to associate with. You understand?
Yes.
And others may be willing to invest in, including your own self. That's when you are ready to start a business. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You sit. So think it through and come back.
Thank you.
Your name.
My name is Fred Buedi. I work at Dev Engineering Services. Dev.
Deaf.
Yes, so the name Dev is actually my name, Fred. Then I turned it to Dev. Okay, so this is what we do. We sell and we install water pumps. And we are located at Old Ashoman. I started the business in 2018. I got it registered when I was working with other company. It has been in operation for since 2018.
Fantastic.
Now, currently I'm working with a different pump company, but with I needed money, so I had to just accept the offer and build mine alongside. Now, with the issue of partnership, I have had people trying to invest because they've seen the potentials and how fast things are going. Now, I met one man who is more or less like a father with a partnership. He told me to draw and bring up an agreement. I didn't know how to go about it because I was looking up to him. And just as you said, we should forgo the friendship and those things and get serious business and bring up. So I think I've learned one thing from there. He asked me to value Dev Engineering Services. And currently, I'm the only one. I'm the CEO, I'm the business developer, I'm doing everything. I just have one technician who goes there. I am mechanical, he's electrical. So when it comes to the plumbing aspect, I consult, I do the thing. But when it comes to the electrical with the panels, he comes in. So I think we are two now. But then, he's asking me to value the company. And now the business is built around me because I bring up the knowledge and everything. So now, do I have to factor in my intelligence? Now, I have an office space. It's a container, but I call it an office space. I have a vehicle. It's my vehicle, but then I have branded it in the name of the company. My intelligence, my knowledge, when it comes to pumping system, my knowledge, when valuing the company, should I value my knowledge as my intellectual property, or I should just let just the physical infrastructure or the things owned by the business, or I should factor in my knowledge as well?
It's even not. it doesn't matter whether it's proprietary to him or not. Let me put it this way. The use of Facebook is not proprietary to anyone, right? You know, we all know how to use Facebook, right? But some people will use Facebook to show pictures about their latest shada and go to the mall and take selfies, go and hide in some hotel and pretend it's their room. Somebody will use it to develop his business. So it doesn't matter that knowledge is not proprietary. It's how you make that knowledge available to customers in a way that they are willing to pay for the value you deliver. The experience you create for them, that is him. Now, the value of a business, and everybody hear this very well. Hello. The value of a business is not the brick and mortar. The value of a business is the free cash flows it can generate going into the future. All right? So when he says you should value the business, the first thing you should be talking about, what's your business plan? Do you have a business plan?
Yes, please.
You have a business plan.
Yes,
now, your business plan should be able to tell you the kind of services you think you can do. And you know that you have this skill, all right, that you are bringing to bear on the project. When you put everything together, you think that with these investments, you should be able to start making X, Y, Z profits, all right, with a certain kind of cash flow. It is those cash flows that are valued for you to get the value of a business. If you are thinking about your business as just your car, as just your office, then go and put the two together and watch it and see whether money will come. Park your car at the office, sit across, get some coffee brokeman, get some pure water. If you advance, you can buy a bottle of beer and call me, I'll help you. And let's see whether after 1 month, the money will come. Nothing will come. It is our ability to put together those resources and labor and skill. All right. Of course, you need financial resources because the car has to move. Petrol has to be must go inside. You need pumps. You may need to invest in some pumps. So when you talk about the investments you need, and say, look, when I take 100,000 over the next 4 years, we should be able to make so and so amount of money. And this is clearly how we are going to do it. You understand? This is clearly how we are going to do it. Because pump services is going to increase because water or something, blah, blah, blah. This is the problem we are having in this country. It's not going to improve. So more of this will happen. Or we are going to have a lot more people with water. They need to pump it up because the water will not be there every day. And then these are the kinds of parts that will be required. We need to sell this. You will figure it out and tell them, look, and that's where your entrepreneurship comes in. Where you tell them, like, this is exactly how this business will run. That's what a business plan should do. And this is the kind of cash flow we expect. So because of that, he's investing in the cash flow. He's not investing in your car. He knows where they sell cars. You understand? He's not investing in your office because he knows where to get. Otherwise, he can even give you his garage as office. You understand what I mean? So it's you. Translate the skill, the things you said right, what you are thinking, into a financial model that can be valued. It's the present value of all the future free cash flows of a business that defines the value of a business. You understand? And that is what the value of a business really is. Let me put it this way. You take a chicken. It lays eggs, right? It creates more chickens. When we are talking about the value of rearing the chicken, it is not the same as the price of the chicken. Now, do you understand that? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the value of rearing that chicken will be in the number of eggs and new layers or chickens it would hatch in the future. You understand? So when you want to sell that chicken to somebody as a business, that chicken as a business, you don't talk about the cost of the chicken. And as a business, it means that the management system for that chicken, you're also selling it to. If you are the manager of the poultry, you are also selling yourself into it, or the system.
which is an important answer to his question. So you understand that when you're putting all these resources together, that is when you are able to bring in cash to the business. Now he wants to know, how does he value his work, which is based on his skill and his experience. So somebody would say, how much does it cost you to work on that business full time? If I wanted to pay you month on month, because you are like the secret sauce to the success of churning out the cash flow, right? How much would it cost me to keep you in that business, to ensure that the chicken is well managed, to bear the eggs? Does that make sense? So one, I think you can come in. So one would be, say, you work somewhere else, they pay you a salary. Yeah. That is the value they have of you. If I said I wanted to, ask you to quit that job and come work, you definitely have bills to pay, you have responsibilities. So how much does it cost? How much would it cost me to employ you into the business that you own? You also have to do that. Yeah.
That's the value of your service, not the value of the business. You understand? Because what you are doing, it may be possible to find another human being who can do the same thing. You understand? Yes, so it's not about you. It's about the business. How much cash can we generate? How many chickens more can we get? Considering the management system you want to put in place for rearing that one chicken. So it comes back to my 2 Olunka matter. I was able to turn 2 Olunka into baking half a bag. Eventually I did a full bag, which is about 24 Olunka or something of that sort. Okay. If you come to invest in my business, you are going to invest in my ability to end up with my 1 bag, and not necessarily the price of 2 Olunka. You understand? And then if we can grow that much, how much cash are we going to generate? They said, look, you can generate this much cash. You know what? I'm investing this money for a new oven. I'm investing this money for X, Y, and Z. We need more people so that we can get to the 1 bag quickly. We need more people to sell on the ground. So that's because when we put all this in together, we can actually generate so much cash. So don't mistaking the price of a thing for the value of a business. You understand? Does that help you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So the next set of questions, please make them snappy. Come forward, and then we will take them. Yeah. Okay. So please stand here.
Good evening.
Yes. Take off your masks. Make it short. Okay. So good evening. Speak loud.
So I want to give a background about myself.
Speak loud. Speak loud.
Okay. So I trained 6 years as an eye doctor. I graduated this year. Okay, so that's professionally, I'm an eye doctor. Alongside, I was learning.
Are you an ophthalmologist?
Optometrist. Yes, okay. So, and then as a side hustle, I learned how to program. So I have been programming for 3 years professionally. And then I'm into marketing. I get people's products and I market for them. We strike a deal. I take my end. The problem is, I'm tossed between seeing the business side of optometry as against the programming aspect. As my research work at the university, I developed a software for the University of Cape Coast to manage the eye care. I've seen a market niche over there, but the problem is it's difficult as a small boy, in quotes, talking to the big giants, letting them know that one person can be able to deliver the software. At the optometry side, there's money in it. But then, I have seen the end of people who started like me in the optometry side, and their end, I don't like it. So I'm tossed between, should I go by my professional as an optometrist or as a software developer?
You are the man with the least problem sitting here. I mean, the key resource you have with your coding thing is yourself. That's the beauty about tech. You know, when you have the skill, you are professionally trained into something. There are many coders everywhere. The issue is what value proposition is your coding delivering? Your coding should solve problems that people should want to pay for. Your optometry is solving problems. That's why people will pay you for it. Now, you know optometry. You know, what do you call it, coding. Have you sat down to ask yourself, within this my optometry space, where are the tech opportunities? What kind of solutions can be developed to optimize the quality of service, the speed of service, or the experience consumers have in this my optometry? You understand? I would be spending more time taking that niche because you won't get easily somebody leaving apps and mobile understanding optometry. All the pure tech guys, all right, they are robots. You understand? They are robots. I don't have an extra value of a tech man over any other person. No, I don't. Because they have a skill. When you go to her, you tell her what kind of occasion that you are going to and how you want to feel. She figures out a design for you, true or false. You go to the tech man, you tell him what kind of solution you want, how the solution should be. His job is to code it out right for you, right? So you get what you want. Now you're in a position where you understand the problem. You understand possible solutions. I'm investing in tech. I don't have a tech background, but I have a solutions background where I solve problems. So I can sit down and I see that tech can be an enabler in this area, but this is how it can be. So let me look for the tech boys to come and do what I want and own it. Jack Ma is not a tech man. He was a teacher, I guess. All right? He just didn't understand why he couldn't get beer or and some other commodities easily online. And he started his own thing and put the Chinese brands out there. What did he need to do? Tell people that from a consumer perspective, this is what I want to have. So let me get you tech guys. Can you model and do something like this for me? I will pay you. He did it. He paid them. Small. He started onboarding people onto his system. And today Jack Ma is who Jack Ma is. Now they're using tech to run restaurants. You understand? The problem is not the tech. The thing is not the tech. The thing really is identifying the solution that solves people's problem and people be willing to pay for it. So you are blessed, i.e., you don't even need to hire somebody to deliver the solution. And you are wrong when you say small boy. There's nobody small boy here. Everybody sitting here, I believe, can be a member of parliament once you're above 18. All right? And the kind of things that you people have done, I see your face, that you've done more than me in life. I don't know what again is small boy about this. The vote is one vote, true or false? Please, don't look small at yourself. The fact that you show people respect doesn't mean that you look down and think small of yourself. At the end of the day, we all have that particular moment in life to make our own changes. All right? I've seen adults make the most stupid arguments. I've seen kids make the smartest argument. My son and daughter easily outsmart me. I'm being honest about it. All right? So forget it about small. Don't think of yourself small, because if you start thinking yourself small, when you're even approaching people to it affects your ability to communicate. Being respectful does not mean.
Okay. So if I may come in.
So I'm going to solve your problem now. Yeah. The last part. Then you can come in if you want to again. My guy, when those so-called big boys send them the solution, you are in a position to deliver the solution because you understand their problem significantly. Send them the software. You know what? I'm going to run a proof of concept for you. To run your optometry, X, Y, and Z, add a CRM solution that you currently don't have. All right? We put in a CRM solution inside. Beside all the tech stuff, I mean the technical optometry solutions that you don't have, just try it. When they try it and they realize that they can't get that off the shelf because you have spent time, there'll be no reason why they'll say, you know what, I'll take a license for your software. Do you understand? And if they won't, start it with yours. Use your tech ability to promote your optometry business. How are you taking optometry online? I've not seen that actively in this country. All right, what are the solutions? Are people able to just go online and actually book a particular kind of eyeglass online and then have it delivered. You don't need to have invested in any of the systems. But you need to have a network with Gokal and all those people all around, and onboard all their things onto your network, your marketplace for, if it's about real treatment, you should be able to figure out the solutions that sector needs. And since you have the skill, develop the software yourself. And then when you come to him, and he's Dr. something who taught you whatever he has the biggest, tell him that I can improve your practice by X, Y, Z. And this solution can make you run more efficiently, can help you generate a lot more revenue and turn around your business or move your business from point A to point B. All right? And this is how it works. If you're in doubt, you know what? I'll run a proof of concept for you. Run your current system. Let me run this power by this. And you will see the value it delivers. When the customers start getting excited and people are referring more to your system, they will take you seriously, not because you are younger or you claim you are this, but because they have experience and you have delivered the value that they need.
So you mentioned that you had also built a system for the University of Cape Coast Clinic, right? The eye clinic, yes. Right? So you already have a proof of concept to show that, okay, this is what you built for them. This was the challenges they were having. You understand the problem because you work in the industry. And this is one example of a customer who's happy with the service you rendered. There are tricky things to this. Working in tech, you would, as your solution goes, you'd need more people to build it, and then you'd also have to do the business work of getting investors, selling the solution, etc. And so before you even decide to go the long haul, you'd have to have a sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what do you really want to do? Do you want to be a builder of solutions for the optometry industry, or you want to work in the optometry industry as a doctor? So once you have that conversation with yourself, then you can decide for yourself which one is the best investment of your time. Because coding a solution, even for the UCC clinic, I'm sure it took a lot of time.
7 months.
Exactly. And you can't scale such level of work if you're the only person. But then, of course, that makes you a good person to know what kind of problems, like you were saying. So what kind of problems does the clinic at UCC have that you can foresee 10, 20, 100, 1,000 clinics having? And how can you better the systems that solve these problems? Or are there existing problems within the industry? And honestly, medical services is one of the most outdated systems or industries you can think about. Most of even their recording of patients, most of the systems they use are not the high tech. So it means that you're very, even in sub-Saharan Africa, you are in a good place to find good team members who can join your small tech company and build a solution that can impact not only clinics in Ghana or in Cape Coast, but you can think global, even Pan-African with it. I think you have something that you could explore.
All right.
To add more,
okay.
So for instance, with the UCC, for instance, after doing all the work, they got to know that the software is good. Even the computer science department could not. But the problem comes, then the question is, show us a certificate that you are a computer science student.
Are you serious?
You see, so I remember I told them what you said to them as
that's why I will still say it, and they can say anything.
So they even wanted to cancel my work.
They should cancel. I mean it. And everybody should hear me live. That whoever told you that is a very useless man. It's a disappointment onto this state. Because what the guy should be asking is, how do we get this man to get better? You are looking for a certificate that is giving you nothing. You have a first class, and the first class person can't do first class job, can't do second class job. Look, nobody is interested in what degree you have. They should actually go and ask Bill Gates to give him the certificate from Harvard, which he hasn't got. You understand? Before they use Microsoft, Excel, and Word. Whoever told you that thing, I repeat, is a very useless man. And it's a big disappointment on this particular country. You are in a particular place that you're supposed to inspire and encourage talent. And what you actually chase is to tell you you don't have a certificate. You have a certificate, Prof, and you couldn't do the work that this guy who hasn't got a certificate did.
That's so wrong.
Who really is a certificate?
That's so wrong. That's so wrong, right?
My brother, I'm
It's
sorry.
true, it's
When
true,
you invite me,
it's
you
true.
know what you get.
Exactly.
You don't come and ask me about life and
I
all
know
that.
that's so truthful, and I think that we should get on.
Look, don't give up.
Yeah,
Your opportunity to win is huge.
exactly.
Go forth and win. Go forth and what?
Win.
You don't seek anybody's approval. If the person's brain is too small to be able to see big things, that is his problem. You see what you have for yourself. In your case, you're not hungry because kwata, you can go and do locum, you chop. Don't stop. Tech is the future. Tech is an enabler for solutions. Those who figure it are those who run this world. Those who run the world today, the richest men in the world are driven by technology. All right? Not by certificates. They are driven by what? And not certificates. And they are driven by technology because they figured how to translate technology into solutions. Facebook is not technology. That's not the reason why you are chasing it. You are chasing it because you get a certain consumer experience that you want and you find value in. If tomorrow it is mosquito that delivers it, you will all move to mosquito. Today it is technology that delivering that solution. That's why we are where we are. So my guy, go forth and win.
Great. Okay. Right.
I think that it's really funny because most of the times when you hear things like that, they are trying to underpay you. When they actually wanted to underpay. Exactly, because they are looking for loopholes to say, but you don't deserve how much you are charging us.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Okay, great. So we'll take the questions online. We still have two people. We'll take two questions here. So be upstanding, and then we'll take. So online question. This is directed at.
Just a little.
Okay. So.
One thing you need to know, because you're a startup and you have very little reference, you need to be willing to take a proof of concept route. Let people experience your product. When you sign up on Facebook, it's free, right?
Yeah.
Sooner than later, when you get hooked on, you start paying to promote your pictures, your things, true or false. You understand? So get them hooked on it. It's a market strategy. It hasn't got to do with your size or your certificate. You understand? If people want to use it for a period, use them and use them as a reference. If it's your first customer, UCC is an okay brand. All right? Tell them, look, you're going to have them and you treat it as a CSR project. So that you can actually use and tell people that UCC is using it. You understand? I will not hurriedly dump them and say, because you won't pay. I'll come up with another structure because they are the ones who have given you an opportunity to try. You understand? That entry is a very critical one because it becomes your stepping stone. And don't worry when people take advantage of you in that sense, because in the long run, you are the one who will be taking advantage of them. You got it? Yeah.
What are some of the strategies that can be implemented to encourage youth graduates in petroleum engineering? So this person is directing the question to you. What are some of the strategies that can be implemented to encourage youth graduates in petroleum engineering? So I think this is more related to jobs.
I understand. He has the frustration that almost every graduate today has. That I've invested in a certain skill and I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have a certificate and I can't do anything. And somebody has to go and say, and he's doing something.
Yeah.
When you are that, go and ask Despite to show you his certificate. You understand? This orientation must get out of your head. Your certificate entitles you to nothing. What your certificate does is that it gives an indication of what you possibly can do.
Right.
All right? It doesn't entitle you to nothing, neither does it prove that you can do anything. You understand? How many of us did not do cheap poor pass? You understand? How many of us didn't? If you raise your hand and ask you one question, you find yourself wanting you. Please, your certificate shows that you have a certain measure of analytical and a certain basic technical skill that employers or entrepreneurs may be able to leverage on to do things. That's why you go through an interview session. Honestly, if you have a day necessary certificate, and I actually need a trader who can really identify arbitrages, take advantage of it, and make me money, and that person can do it better. Even if he enter my company as a cleaner and he shows that he can do it better when I give him the chance, trust me, he'll be your boss and you have a PhD. I don't give a toss. Because what we are looking at is about delivering value. Your certificate is not the value. It's an indication of possible value. Your opportunity at work is where your value would really be proven and tested. Your ability to grow is not a certificate. It's only in government service. Oh. That's why the government system is not working. Oh. You understand? Most of the major companies today, Google and Co., they've stopped following your certificate. They don't care. You do some aptitude test. They run you through a certain proper rigor. If your certificate is inside you, it will show. You understand what I mean? So please, don't make a big fuss about your certificate. It means nothing. It's just an indication. Make a fuss about the value that you can deliver. That's why you constantly must be investing in yourself. That's why she didn't sit at home. She went to do apprenticeship. Her friends must have been laughing at her, looking down on her. Today, she will employ them. You see that thing? Yeah. We rushed for nothing this town. For nothing. When I was running my bakery, I was selling on my floor. And people understand baking. But me, I will have a jovial way to do everything and you will buy. They were buying, I was using their money to pay my school fees. I was using their money to take care of my siblings. That was the value I needed. And the experience I got, the story I tell, they can't tell some. Do you understand? So take and make the most of every opportunity you have and don't overrate your certificate.
Right. Thank you. So make your question brief.
Hi, my name is Akosia Amponsa, and I started a virtual assistant business.
Virtual assistant. Okay.
Okay, 3 months ago. And then I think so what I do as a virtual assistant is I provide administrative services to business owners. Okay, so it's basically me working as an administrative assistant, but remotely for different business owners. And I think one of the challenges that I've encountered, just like Wage Express, virtual assistants, is
I have to be honest. When I saw it, I was thinking about a virtual, the virtual assistant on various platforms.
Yeah.
And then you have bot assistants.
Yeah.
So that's what I actually thought it was.
Yes.
But this is a novel idea, and I think you deserve a round of applause, man. Somebody's thinking. That's the creativity people will pay for.
Yes. So since I started, I've been attending networking events, meeting new people, and when they ask what you do, and then I say I'm a virtual assistant, most of the time, they don't understand what it is.
Fine.
And so I think it's two things. You spoke about communicating your value.
That is what it is.
In answering his question.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say one, when I talk about my value propositions, one would be saving time for business owners, because the admin tasks that I take on are normally repetitive, time-consuming tasks like email management, composing business documents, internet research, digital file management. So these are tasks that take up a lot of time, from business owners in their daily activities. So it's basically having someone that you can shove all these tasks.
So can we stop calling ourselves a virtual assistant?
Pardon?
And then can we stop calling ourselves a virtual assistant as of now? And when I ask you what you do, you should be telling me about the value I would get from you.
Okay.
You understand? You communicate that value to me, and that I can connect. You understand? And that's very important. Sometimes we get too carried away by branding, that we forget that branding also needs communication. So you call yourself virtual assistant, we don't know what it is. If I'm looking for your service, I won't add you to the list of virtual assistant. Because I don't know the thing is called virtual assistant. True or false?
Can I play devil's advocate for her? So I would say Ghanaians are now catching up to the idea of virtual assistantships, but it's always existed. It's now that, and I'm sure you don't get lots of people signing you up from Ghana because they don't understand why you are not coming. Exactly. They don't understand why, yes. It's like, you're my secretary, but you're not coming to my office, and you are doing all this work for me. How am I sure you are working? So I think one of the problems would be, how do you convince people to hire you?
How do I even introduce
yourself?
What I do exactly?
Yeah, so that's what.
Communication. I mean, I went to this church, and in a village, and there was a funeral. So a lot of people came from Accra, big men there. Hey, the pastor is preaching. The English. The big men there couldn't understand the thing the man said, and we all left the place. You go there and you see all this thing. Your communication ends with constructive feedback. So if you call me something, what's your objective? Is it that you always want to wow me for wow's sake and walk away? That's fine. Tell me virtual assistant and walk away. And I maybe not know it, and I may not be humble enough to ask. Or I may know, hear virtual assistant, and I may think that maybe you are the person behind the bot.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You know, doing that. And I'll make the assumption and walk away. Unless I'm building an app or building a web, and then I won't call you because I don't think you fit in.
Yeah.
So we need to communicate the value we deliver to our potential customers, existing customers, in a manner that makes them respond to what's constructive to us. They investing in our value. Do you understand? Yeah, so that's where your first problem is. Having said that, the name has changed from virtual assistant. All I'm just saying is that you know your customers, so you find a way to communicate to them. You don't go to Yendi and go and speak Ewe and say the Ewe you are speaking is correct. You don't go there and go and speak the most bourgeois French. You will come here, it's like you got a papa no kasapa and I said no kai anymore. Hey, but no, you oh, papa no wabing. But I don't know, you don't know. But you have clapped for him and you have left. So communicate the value and let us know what you can do to solve our problems, make our lives better. And you also have to define who really fits into your customer base. You have to clearly segment your market, clearly define your customer, and define your customer within the space of your society. All right? Is it a place where you have the very typical businessman wanting something like this? Maybe no. Maybe American people, for their culture, yes. In Ghana, maybe no. Maybe your real customers, for starters, are the people sitting here. You understand? Who want to be able to go to a place and say, all right, okay, I'll get my secretary to set up an appointment with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you also have to keep some kind of, appearance some way, but you know what I'm saying? You like this, I see you, but you go like Duba, or, yeah, here's my pocket nice. Yeah, all right, don't worry, I'll really get my secretary to reach out to you. Yeah. They who watch and watch if they are coming, if they are not coming, they'll jump inside the trotro. We have all been there. So you need to find who and then send your service to them. You may have a nice product in the US, may be good for a certain group of people. In Ghana, may not be good for the right people. I went into Nigeria with Strategist when I was in charge of business development. And when they saw Strategist that we used to die of for a year, they thought it was dog food. You understand? It's still been very difficult for canned tuna to penetrate the Nigerian market because dog food came in that kind of thing. And then they rather have it, so we have to change the whole packaging before we can reach that kind of market. But in Ghana, that was the right thing for us. You understand? So, understand your environment and properly position your product amidst your customers.
Yeah. So one would be, you mentioned that you help entrepreneurs put together their business plans. You could begin with that, depending on who you are speaking to. And then you could also say you are like a virtual secretary. So if people need to book appointments with you, you could take charge of that. It would just take you might have to do, that's some of the things you have to do when you're a startup or you're a new brand. You have to do some education, but in a language that they understand. So yeah.
You're not promoting a brand.
Yeah.
It's
just, yeah.
Space, yeah.
And a market development phase. Because there's no penetration here where the thing is you're trying to get this market is new to this entire virtual. So it's a whole product concept development. So communication is very key. And that communication must be as clear, even if you want to make it so swagalicious. You understand? People can then invest in it. But I would like to understand a bit more how your virtual assistant services would work. But your potential clients are immediately sitting here.
All right.
So you should try and catch a few of them and let them have a chat with you. You catch a, let her tell you how she can make you swag yourself. You understand? Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I think let's give it up for her as she gets to sit. There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions that our guest needs to
I
respond
didn't
to.
finish your petroleum thing.
Yes,
Did I?
You just deviated.
And I actually,
exactly.
yeah.
Just
No, I mean, petrochemical engineering, which is something I was going to do and I didn't do, but today I manage petrochemical engineers.
Exactly.
You see how life is. He wanted to know what policy strategy could be in
For
place
graduates to get into.
for them to get into. Our petroleum market is not huge. You understand?
Yeah.
But there are other markets that are growing. Africa is going to have to grow because it has those resources and highly underutilized.
Yeah.
Ideally, as a country, we should actually be investing in creating opportunities for them to really get into it. Now, you take something like the BDCs. Please, anybody who tells you go and do MBA, oil and gas, don't do it. All right, this is my direct advice. Don't waste your time. Go and invest in a particular skill. If it's finance, you want to build a skill in, you go and build it. You can apply it anywhere. There's nothing MBA, oil and gassy. Nothing like that. If you want to be a petroleum economist, that's fine. But with a petrochemical engineer, Ghana hasn't got much opportunities for that particular skill set. So my immediate advice is that he has to actually invest in a higher level education to create more opportunities outside of this market. Other than that, for me, every degree is a baseline for shaping analytical thinking. You understand? And it doesn't matter. Asafo Mafo was an engineer, he ended up in finance. He was our finance minister. Okay? I started as a science student, did philosophy and psychology, went to do finance, came back to do economics. Today, I don't even know who I am. You understand? I know I'm also here. Okay, so he shouldn't get trapped in there, but the opportunity is still in there. They are not that much because he's asking a question not for himself, he's asking a question for everyone there. As an association in the school at Tech, I think that one of the things they could be doing is to be engaging government on policy interventions that create better opportunities and growth path for that group of people. Ghana should go to define clearly, I need so much engineers, all right? And we need to build their capacity. They may come back, fit elsewhere, but create opportunity for this very specialized skill area.
Right, great. Thank you, Senyo. So the questions are a lot, and I think we'll find a way to get them to you for everyone to have a response to. We'll take the last one, and then we'll take your last final words. Can you be up and then come over and take the microphone? I'll read another one online so you can respond to it. So,
just the one who was referring to this is the guy.
All right, so this particular question, any tips on seeking investors for starting an equity finance business from scratch?
The all-new multipurpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with
The
priority.
gentleman here mentioned that his company is called DEV, and you are the brand strategist. You know about brand perceptions and all of that. And especially when you want to grow it internationally, you really have to be mindful about how other people would perceive the brand. And he gave an example about the Starkist brand. So I'd like you to double click on that to really, state if people really have to be careful when they want to market their brands to international audience in choosing their names. The second question is about the team. I've tried a lot of ventures, and the key problem I always face is finding the right talent. I got a gentleman to work on a tech startup who built MTN Hot Seats, really brilliant project, but right now
I can't get him to continue with the project, and we haven't launched. We started about 3 years ago in 2018. And I have like a finance guy who is a CA. So solid team, but no dedication. Now, what I find is that sometimes you need something to motivate these people to stay. They are all partners, they are all stakeholders, like, you know, they own part of the business. But how can you keep these people motivated? And especially for people who are in the non-profit, and when you're starting, you don't have enough to pay, because I have like a non-profit too. You don't pay people to work for you. What are some of the things you can actually do to keep them motivated to, you know, work and help you achieve your mission and vision?
Senyo, so you can respond to. Diana, take the first two, and then Senyo will take the last one.
Okay, so in terms of naming, I honestly think we overthink that part of the business. Like, you could call yourself anything, and tomorrow you can be the biggest thing out there. Like, business is tough. And to really overburden yourself, sleepless nights, what would be the perfect name? It should sound like this. So, like, it's really not necessary. Okay, you can pick any name and tomorrow change it. There's no problem with that. So don't overthink it when you're picking a name. But if you have to really pick a name, you can decide whichever route you want to go. Do you want to make it easy for people to mention it? Or do you want it to be easy for understanding what it could mean? So some would say maybe trying to describe the service or the product, then you use it as a name. So it becomes like an adjective. So like for them to understand what it could mean. Nobody understands what Google means. Nobody understands what Nike means. Even if it has a name, nobody has bothered to check. So don't really overthink it. Of course, you have to do your due diligence, make sure nobody else has a name so they don't come for you, you know, all that. But as much as possible, execution is what matters. At the end of the day, if you hear Skills Hub, it could mean anything. But once you have come into this space, you've experienced the place, you've seen how the place is looking posh, they are in East Legon, everybody is branded in T-shirts, the way they are speaking to you. That is what you will know Skills Hub as, and not the fact that it was called Skills Hub. I hope that clarifies and settles a lot of people's, you know, issues. We mentioned Mitsubishi or what, I don't know, I don't even know what it's, and even Chevrolet. Like, there are so many words out there that have become brands we connect with so passionately, but we don't really understand what it means. So you might want to look at that and say, well, what name could make life easier for us? But then, of course, we are going to execute and give the best experience so that the name travels by itself. Of course, you don't want to choose a big name or a long name that's, you know, hard to remember. But at the end of the day, the spirit is in the execution. Yeah, finding the best team. So there are two balances to this. One is, oh, maybe I should find the most skilled people and put them together. It's like having the perfect football team or basketball team. By the end of the day, if they are not driven, you might as well have nobody there, right? And then you have people who are so driven, who are so passionate, but they don't have the skills you are looking for. For me, one of the experiences I have has been blending those two so that people who have drive, who have passion, and are very willing to learn, you give them opportunity to learn from people who are skilled in it. So people who are skilled in it, of course, they know their value. They know that if they were working somewhere and they're getting paid, they wouldn't be doing these kind of small tasks. But if you have a blend of that where they can pass on some of these skills to people on the team who do anything to do those tasks to learn, then it also gives them some form of connection that, oh, even if I stay here, I'm supporting people to learn, or I'm working with a team that understands the vision. You know, even that drive to contribute to the team can also replicate itself and get people to come together. But of course, there will be some time when people would have to leave, and when it's time, the earlier you sack them, that's the sad truth. The earlier you sack them, the better for you, because after you do all this, you can only do so much. After you've done all this, people are still not pulling their weight. You might just have to let them go. and then find people who are willing. But of course, it's if one of the things that most entrepreneurs do not understand is sometimes when it is your idea, your business, nobody's going to be so passionate about it like you would. And I need us to really see that objectively, that no, even your children will not be passionate. Elon Musk's children, they could care less that he's trying to go to Venus or anywhere in this universe. Even that, like, so once you understand that these people that I'm asking to join in, what is in it, like, what's in it for them? Apart from the money, what's in it for them? Are there people who are genuinely excited about seeing an idea mature into something great? Are there people who are passionate about at least giving back to society with their skill sets and experiences? Whatever would be their basic motivation to do it, you want to use that and match that with how long can they do that for? And if you understand that, okay, with this kind of person and those conversations we've had, there are people who are most likely to stick around for the next 1 year or 3 months. You want to use them for when they are available, so that when it's time for them to go, there's no bad blood. So once you have this objective understanding of how these things work, then you know how to navigate such conversations. Nobody's going to be with you for the longest haul, and it's just a fact of life.
Great. Senyo.
I think she's nailed it, but it's very difficult to motivate people you are not paying. So you actually have to sell the vision and make sure you whip passion for it. We built the hospital. Most of the people there were volunteers. Of course, there was some group of people who were paying, but the engineering team were largely volunteers. And I had to figure a way to motivate them each day. Because in the middle of crisis, you have fear or passion. Something comes up. Everything is emotive. And you have to choose what you really leverage on. And we rather chose to leverage the opportunity to really fight, you know. And we did that. But you had to sustain that, because after a month, people will say, hey, I have to go home. You understand? Yeah. You can't go and tell your wife that you work for a month and you have served the country, you've done so well, you are saving lives. He said that hunger will kill the lives in your house. You know, but we had to find ways to, I mean, there were some economic incentives we put in at some point, but one thing I should tell them every day that we lost, or we got this project slower, was a life that we could do. There are lives we could save, and I put them out everywhere. So there was constant urgency. You know, there were difficult times. Times I fired people. You know, I fired people, I mean, old enough to be my dad, tell them my peace of mind, because I was successful at making people realize that this story was not about me. It wasn't about them. It was about lives. You understand? Lives, real lives. And we're in a privileged position to be part of history, and that history, and I've never turned my back on them in trying to acknowledge their efforts. In the whole process, I always ram it, and they felt good every day. They were happy to come there to really let people know that they are the people who were working on that project. You understand? You have to find something to get them connected with sustaining their interest. You don't give shares to people clearly without a clear commitment spelled out. And that's what we discussed earlier about the agreements and all that. Now the people are not pulling their weight and you don't know what to do. There should be a mechanism for you to tell them, you have outlived your usefulness. You know, this is a vision that we share. This is a vision that must be seen and is bigger than all of us. So if we have to do it, we have to do it. You know, and you must find a way to touch the soft things that will inspire them to continue to work. And then that's you have problems.
Right.
You know, what's the other one?
So about non-profit, the naming, that's what Diana
I think she's really dealt with it. There's a shop in the U.S., it's a sporting shop called Dick's.
That sounds like a shoe, yeah.
There may be quickies.
Something else. Okay.
It ends up with the equity you inject in the brand. There's a certain company here with, it's a very nice name. It's a credit reference bureau. It's respectfully one of the, is the worst performing one, but it has the nicest name. It won't make anybody go there. You understand?
Right.
So names are important because customers should be able to connect.
Right.
When the names are easier, it's also easier to invest in it.
Right.
It's quicker to have, but the definition of it is the
Value
experience
and
that
experience.
people, the value people experience when they encounter the brand and they encounter your product.
Right. Thank you so much, Senyo.
Zoom Lion.
Right. So we are almost there. We're there now. So we would like to take your final thoughts. So far, what you've shared, your last keywords that people should remember when they leave here. It's very important. Then we would go to the next item on the bill. So Diana, you go first. What do you want us to remember for this session as we go?
So what I would want everyone, well, for myself, has been that, I mean, of course you came to listen to us. Like, if I could speak on behalf of Senyo, I would say we are very grateful that you saw some value in the time being spent here. However, where the actual connection happens is amongst everybody in this room. You don't know who the next person seated by you is. Try and make those real connections, because that is where the magic happens. These days, I really push for people to meet people, engage, ask for somebody's 15, 10, 20 minutes over lunch or something, and just get to know people and pour yourself into people, so that at the end of the day, you know whatever you are trying to build, whatever solution you are trying to create for this world, it is going to affect these people that you are avoiding. So that would just be it. Whatever you're doing, 10 years, 20 years from now, if you're not alive, it's people who felt a connection to you, the brands you're trying to build, the businesses the impact you're trying to make. They are going to make your name outlive you. And I really hope that we get to have an understanding of that deeply. Yeah.
Connect with people. People really matter, so remember to connect with people. Senyo.
Value emanates from value. And the first value you must believe in and invest in is yourself. All right? That's where value will emanate from. Effort is nice, but totally inadequate. It's the value you deliver that to set you apart. So at all times, think of what value you are delivering, what value you are creating, what value you are delivering, and what value you should anticipate for you to win on the business front. But please, don't look down on yourself. You are the only and the first gift you have, yourself, even before your father, your mother. Some people are born, they never even see their parents. The father may have died before the mom went into labor. The mother may die during labor. And they come on earth. The one sure thing is cogito ergo sum. You are, therefore you are, meaning that you are there. So the primary value is yourself. Every day, invest in yourself. Instead of spending time doing Instagram, watching people's pictures for nothing, pick something and learn. Invest in some kind of skill. That skill can be meaningful at some point. But please, don't look down on yourself. Don't think small of yourself. Small things become big things, and small people are the ones that make big things. You understand? Please, 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 you have it in you to go forth and...
I've actually picked so much from this conversation. I wish I would have the opportunity to also share a bit more about my switch from engineering and doing work in the development space, but one day we will share that. I would like to, at this point, for those of you joining us, you've sent in very brilliant questions. We've had the opportunity to have our guests respond to some of them. Those of them that we couldn't, we would find a way to get the responses on our virtual platforms for you too. If you find your way within East Legon, walk into our space and you get to have a bit more insight into the questions you've asked. I would like to call on someone to come in to give us a closing remark. Let's clap for Portia Ajekun as she does that for us.
Thank you very much.
Take off the mic. Take off the mic.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
So I want us to give a round of applause to ourselves for staying on till the event. And can we do another one for our guests? Thank you. So thank you very much for gracing the occasion. Even though we've stayed a bit late than the usual time, we've been able to hold the 4 days. The conversation was good, but we would have to close. So thank you very much for coming. To Mr. Senyo Hosi, it was good having you here. We've learned a lot. We've listened a lot. We are going to practice it. We are going to network and then get in touch sometime. And then to our honorable lady, Dinah, thank you very much for the contribution. Prosper, you did a great job. Thank you too. And to ourselves, we have done a brilliant job for staying on. So, okay, so in closing, I would want us to talk a little bit about the Skills Hub. We've seen it on the video. We also have it on our flyers. So this is a space that you can always come. It's for young people. You can come here. We have event spaces. This is one of our event spaces. We have smaller event spaces. We also have a library at the ground floor. There are co-working spaces for a young business as entrepreneurs. You want to have your small meeting. You want to have a nice place to meet your clients. You are welcome to use the space. So we'd also encourage that you share and follow us on social media. So on Facebook, it is Skills Hub by Yota. On our social media handles, it is at Yota Rising. So we kindly entreat you to follow us, like our pages, and continue visiting the hub, as well as continue contributing to Skills Hub chats. Thank you very much for coming, and enjoy your evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Portia. We've started a journey somewhere in May. We've had our first edition. This is our 7th, and we're ending it on a good note. We'll be back sometime next year, God willing. First, in January, we will be having another session. So thank you so much to everyone who have been with us from the first day. I've seen some familiar faces here, and then we hope to have you on in the session. Before you go, just get on Facebook and then share the conversation right now to all your network. People need to hear it. We should do that so then they can hear you. They want to hear what we've been discussing so far. So right on your phone, go to Skills Hub by Yota, share the conversation that we've had just onto your page for people to follow us. We will be taking pictures for those of us here. Virtual folks, we'll be taking virtual photos. We'll figure it out. So thank you for staying with us. If you want to network and engage with our speakers, they will be around for some time. So please do stay around and speak with them before they quickly run away. On this note, I've been Prosper Tony. I've been your MC. And then I would like to say thank you to our guests once again. Thank you for joining us. A big round of applause.
The all-new multi-purpose Skills Hub is supporting young people seeking opportunities to build their dream businesses, gain decent work, and transform their lives. The Skills Hub offers incredible services for next to nothing. These services include Youth Enterprise Services, where we support you to start, grow, and sustain their businesses. Our incubation and acceleration services come with priority access to curated library, mentoring and coaching, as well as business advisory services at the Skills Hub. Youth employment services, preparing youth for the world of work, and innovative supportive services and facilities providing events and meeting spaces with customizable seating capacity of 5 to 65, co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs who may not have office space to operate, high-speed internet cafe, a copy center, and others, special packages for the most sought after entrepreneurship skills, employability skills, digital skills, life skills, and financial literacy for individuals and organizations. The Skills Hub is open to every young person who wants to land their dream jobs or contracts. It's time to take charge of your future. Now visit the Skills Hub at Toyota Building at American House Traffic Lights on the Labaleshi Road, East Lagos.